All right, so last episode we talked about why Black Friday is different, why the usual supplement marketing playbook doesn't work when everyone's in deal hunting mode, and why you need to think differently about how you structure your offers during this crazy time of year. Today, I want to dig into something that's absolutely critical during Black Friday and Cyber Monday. And honestly, it's probably the thing that separates the brands that crush it from the ones that just kind of limp through with mediocre results. And that thing is trust. Welcome to Health Business Mastery, the Creative Thirst podcast. I'm your host, Bobby Hewitt. Now, I know what you're thinking. Trust? Really? We're talking about Black Friday here. People are in buying mode. They're comparing prices. They're looking for the best deal. Who cares about trust? Just give them a deal they can't resist. And that's exactly the problem. That's exactly why most supplement brands struggle during this period. They think that because it's Black Friday, because people are deal focused, that somehow trust doesn't matter as much, or they think they can skip over the trust building part because, hey, everyone's just looking at the discount percentage, right? Wrong. So incredibly wrong. Here's the thing about supplement buyers that you need to understand. And this goes back to everything we've talked about in previous episodes about how buying supplements is fundamentally different from buying other products. When someone buys a supplement, they're not just buying a bottle of pills or a tub of powder. They're making a decision to put something into their body, to ingest it, to trust that it's going to help them, not hurt them. And that requires a level of trust that buying a pair of shoes or a kitchen gadget just doesn't require. So even on Black Friday, even when someone is in speed mode, bouncing between 20 different websites looking for deals, that fundamental requirement for trust doesn't go away. It doesn't magically disappear just because there's a timer counting down and a 40% off banner at the top of your page. What changes is how much time you have to build that trust. In normal circumstances, building trust with a cold prospect might take weeks. They might see your ad, click through to your website, read a bit, leave, come back a few days later, read some reviews, watch a video, sign up for your email list, get a few emails, and then maybe eventually they buy. That's gradual trust. That's the slow build. And it works great when you've got time. But on Black Friday, you don't have weeks. You don't even have days. You've got minutes, maybe seconds. They've landed on your product page. They're looking at your offer, and they're making a decision right now. Not tomorrow, not next week, right now. So the question becomes, how do you compress that trust building process? How do you take something that normally happens slowly over time and pack it into a moment? How do you build what I call accelerated trust? And before we go any further, let me be really clear about something. Accelerated trust is not fake trust. It's not tricks or manipulation. It's not about fooling people into thinking you're trustworthy when you're not. If your product sucks, if your brand is sketchy, if you're making claims you can't back up, no amount of accelerated trust techniques is going to save you. In fact, it'll probably backfire spectacularly. Accelerated trust is about taking all the legitimate reasons someone should trust you and presenting them in a way that allows people to make a decision quickly. It's about removing friction, reducing anxiety, and giving people the shortcuts they need to feel confident about buying from you. Okay, so let's talk about how this actually works. In my framework, I talk about trust being built, first fast, then slow. And that formula looks like this. Building trust online equals accelerated trust plus gradual trust. You can't get to gradual trust without passing through accelerated trust first. You've got to get that initial buy-in, that first step, before someone will invest more time and emotional energy into trusting you more deeply. Think of accelerated trust as the bridge between zero trust and the first step of micro-trust. It's not deep trust. It's not the kind of trust where someone becomes a lifelong customer who buys everything you release and tells all their friends about you. That comes later. That's gradual trust. Accelerated trust is just enough trust to get them to take the next step, to add something to cart, to pull out their credit card, to click that buy button. And during Black Friday, when you're dealing with cold traffic that's never heard of you before, when you're competing with dozens or hundreds of other brands for attention, accelerated trust is everything. So, how do you build it? The first thing you need to understand is that people look for what I call trust shortcuts. These are signals, cues, visual elements, words, anything that allows them to make a quick judgment about whether you're legitimate or not, whether you're safe or risky, whether you're professional or sketchy. And the reason these shortcuts matter so much is because of how people actually behave when they land on a web page. We've done tons of user testing over the years, watching how people interact with sales pages, product pages, landing pages. And what we see consistently is this pattern where first people move fast. Their eyes are scanning. Their mouse is moving. They're scrolling quickly, just trying to get a sense of the layout, the overall vibe, whether this is worth their time. And then if they don't bounce immediately, they slow down. They start reading more carefully. They look at specific elements. They dig into details. But that first fast phase is critical because that's where they're making the initial decision about whether to invest any more attention at all. And during Black Friday, when people are moving even faster than normal, that initial assessment phase is even more important and even more brutal. So you need trust shortcuts. You need signals that immediately communicate legitimacy and safety. The most obvious and frankly, the most effective trust shortcut is what we call trust marks. These are badges, logos, icons, images that indicate you've been validated by some third party, that someone other than you has vouched for your legitimacy. And there are a bunch of different types of trust marks that work in the supplement space. First, you've got security badges, things like Norton Secured, McAfee, SSL certificates, whatever. Now, to be honest, these are kind of table stakes at this point. People expect to see them. If you don't have them, it's a red flag. But having them doesn't necessarily move the needle that much because they're so common. But you should still have them, especially near your checkout or add to cart button. Second, you've got certification badges. This is stuff like NSF certified, USP verified, GMP certified, non-GMO project verified, USDA organic. These are way more powerful in the supplement space because they speak directly to product quality and safety. They say, we didn't just make this in our garage and slap a label on it. An independent organization tested our product and confirmed it meets specific standards. If you have any of these certifications, you absolutely need to be displaying them prominently on your product pages during Black Friday. Don't hide them at the bottom of the page. Don't tuck them away on some About Us page. Put them where people can see them immediately. Third, you've got endorsement badges. This is when you're featured in major media outlets or when you've got professional endorsements. If you've been on Dr. Oz, if Men's Health wrote about you, if you've got a celebrity athlete who uses your products, that counts. If you've got a doctor or nutritionist or some kind of expert who recommends you, that counts. Now, here's the thing about endorsement badges. They work best when they align with your audience. If you're selling to middle-aged women worried about bone health, having some 25-year-old Instagram fitness model endorse you probably isn't going to move the needle much. But having a doctor who specializes in osteoporosis, that's powerful. And fourth, you've got social proof badges. This is stuff like as seen on Amazon's Choice or 5-star rating on Trustpilot or whatever. These work because they indicate that other people, lots of other people, have bought from you and had good experiences. The key with all of these trust marks is that they need to be real. Don't fake certifications. Don't make up endorsements. Don't buy fake reviews. I shouldn't even have to say this, but apparently I do, because people keep doing dumb stuff. It will catch up with you. It will blow up in your face. Don't do it. Okay, so trust marks are the first element of accelerated trust. They're the fastest signal you can send, but they're not the only one. The second element is testimonials and reviews. Now, I know this seems obvious. Everyone knows testimonials are important, but what most people don't understand is how to use testimonials strategically during Black Friday to build trust quickly. Here's what I see most brands doing. They've got a reviews section at the bottom of their product page. It's got a bunch of 5-star ratings and some generic comments like, great product, works well, highly recommend. And that's it. That's not enough, not for supplements. And especially not during Black Friday when people are making decisions in seconds, not minutes. You need to be way more strategic about how you use testimonials. First, you need specificity. Generic praise doesn't build trust. Specific results do. Instead of works great, you want, I've been taking this for 3 months and my joint pain has decreased significantly. I can finally go for walks without discomfort. See the difference? The second one is concrete. It's believable. It paints a picture. It helps the prospect imagine themselves having that same experience. Second, you need testimonials that match your target demographic exactly. If you're selling to 55-year-old women, your most prominent testimonials should be from 55-year-old women. If you're selling to athletes, show athletes. People trust people who are like them way more than they trust people who aren't. And here's a pro tip for Black Friday. Specifically, if you can feature testimonials that mention buying during a previous sale or promotion. Something like, I grabbed this during last year's Black Friday sale, and it's been a game changer. I'm stocking up again this year. That does two things. It validates the quality of the product, and it also normalizes buying during a sale. It says, smart people buy during sales. You're not getting ripped off. You're being savvy. Third, and this is huge, video testimonials are way more powerful than text testimonials. Way more. Because with video, people can see and hear a real person. They can read body language. They can hear emotion in the voice. It's much harder to fake, which means it's much more trustworthy. And if you've got video testimonials, especially ones that are clearly authentic and not overly produced, put them on your Black Friday landing pages, front and center. Make them impossible to miss. Now, the third element of accelerated trust during Black Friday is risk reversal. And this is where a lot of supplement brands get tripped up because they don't understand the psychology of risk during a high-pressure buying period. Here's what happens. It's Black Friday. Someone lands on your product page. They're interested. The deal looks good, but they're hesitant. Why? Because they're thinking, what if this doesn't work? What if it's a waste of money? And that hesitation, that internal voice, asking those what-if questions, that's risk. That's the psychological barrier you need to remove. The way you remove it is with guarantees, but not just any guarantee. During Black Friday, you need your guarantee to be absolutely bulletproof. You need it to be so strong, so clear, so no-brainer that it eliminates the what-if questions completely. Most supplement brands offer a 30-day money-back guarantee. That's fine. That's standard. But during Black Friday, I'd argue you should go bigger. 60 days, 90 days. Some brands even do a full year. Now, before you freak out thinking everyone's going to buy your products and return them, let me tell you what actually happens. When you extend your guarantee period, return rates don't skyrocket. In fact, they often stay about the same or even go down slightly. Why? Because the longer guarantee gives people more confidence to buy, which means you're attracting more serious buyers who actually want the product, not just people who are on the fence and likely to return it. Plus, with supplements, if someone takes your product consistently for 60 or 90 days, they're probably seeing results, And if they're seeing results, they're not going to return it. They're going to become a repeat customer. So extend that guarantee during Black Friday. Make it prominent. Put it right near your call to action. Use language like completely risk-free, or if you don't love it, we'll refund every penny, no questions asked. And here's another psychological trick. Frame the guarantee in terms of what they're getting back, not what they might lose. Instead of 30-day money-back guarantee, say try it risk-free for 30 days. If you're not thrilled with the results, just let us know and we'll refund your purchase. Keep the empty bottle. That last part, keep the empty bottle, is powerful. It says we're so confident in our product that we don't even need you to ship it back to us. We trust you. And when you extend trust to your customers, they're way more likely to trust you back. The fourth element of accelerated trust is transparency. And I don't just mean being transparent in a general, we're an honest company kind of way. I mean being specifically, explicitly transparent about the things supplement buyers care about. Where do your ingredients come from? How are they sourced? What's your manufacturing process? What certifications do your facilities have? Are there any fillers or additives? How much of each active ingredient is in each serving? During Black Friday, when people are being bombarded with deals and offers and promotions, the brands that stand out are the ones that make it easy to get answers to these questions, not buried in an FAQ page, not hidden in some PDF you have to download, right there on the product page. And one of the most effective ways to do this is with what I call transparency callouts. These are short, specific statements that directly address common concerns or questions. Things like third-party tested for purity and potency, or sourced from organic farms in Iceland, or manufactured in an FDA-registered GMP-certified facility. Each one of these statements does two things. It provides information, and it builds trust. It says we have nothing to hide. We're proud of how we make our products, and we want you to know exactly what you're getting. And here's something that's especially powerful during Black Friday. Be transparent about your sale itself. Don't be sketchy about it. Don't do the thing where you claim something is 40% off, but you jacked up the price before the sale, so it's really only 10% off. People aren't stupid. They can check price history. They can compare. And if they catch you being shady, you've lost them forever. Instead, be upfront. Say something like, this is the biggest discount we offer all year. We're able to do this because we're moving high volume during Black Friday and negotiating better rates with our suppliers. This deal ends Sunday night and we won't be running it again until next year. That kind of transparency actually increases trust. It feels authentic. It feels like you respect your customer's intelligence. Okay, so we've covered trust marks, testimonials, risk reversal, and transparency. Those are the four main pillars of accelerated trust during Black Friday. But there's one more element I want to talk about, and it's a bit more subtle but incredibly important. And that's what I call trust alignment. Trust alignment is about making sure that your trust signals align with what your prospects already believe. Because here's the thing, trust isn't just about you being trustworthy. It's also about you being trustworthy in a way that resonates with your specific audience's beliefs and values. Let me give you an example. Let's say you're selling a turmeric supplement and your target market is people who are into natural health, who are skeptical of big pharma, who prefer holistic approaches. If you're trying to build trust with that audience by highlighting that your product is recommended by pharmaceutical companies, that's probably going to backfire because that trust signal doesn't align with their beliefs. In fact, it contradicts their beliefs. On the other hand, if you highlight that your turmeric is sourced from organic farms, that it's based on traditional Ayurvedic medicine, that it's recommended by naturopathic doctors, now you're building trust in a way that aligns with what they already believe. You're speaking their language. You're validating their worldview. This is especially important during Black Friday because you're often dealing with cold traffic, people who don't know you yet. And when someone doesn't know you, they're going to evaluate you based on whether you seem like you're on their team, whether you share their values, whether you get them. So think about your target market's beliefs. What do they care about? What are they skeptical of? What do they value? And then make sure your trust signals align with those beliefs. If your market cares about sustainability, talk about your eco-friendly packaging and carbon-neutral shipping. If they care about American-made products, highlight your domestic manufacturing. If they care about clinical research, lead with your studies and scientific backing. The point is, trust isn't one size fits all. Different audiences trust different things. And the brands that understand their audience's belief systems and align their trust signals accordingly are the ones that convert at the highest rates during Black Friday. Now, let me bring this all together with a practical framework you can use when you're setting up your Black Friday campaigns, your product pages, your landing pages, whatever. I want you to think about trust in layers. You're building trust in multiple layers simultaneously, and each layer serves a different purpose in that accelerated trust building process. Layer 1 is visual trust. This is what people see in the first 2 to 3 seconds. Your trust marks, your design quality, your overall professionalism. This layer either keeps people on the page or bounces them immediately. Make sure this layer is tight. Make sure you look legitimate at first glance. Layer 2 is social trust. This is what people see as they start scrolling and skimming. Your reviews, your testimonials, your user-generated content. This layer starts to validate that other people have bought from you and had good experiences. It shifts them from this might be sketchy to, okay, other people have done this successfully. Layer 3 is logical trust. This is the information they process as they dig deeper. Your transparency callouts, your ingredient sourcing, your certifications, your scientific backing. This layer gives them the rational justification they need to make the purchase. It answers their logical questions and concerns. Layer 4 is emotional trust. This is the feeling they get from your guarantee, your customer service promises, your brand personality. This layer makes them feel safe. It reduces anxiety. It makes them feel like even if something goes wrong, you've got their back. And layer 5 is belief trust. This is where your trust signals align with their existing beliefs and values. This layer makes them feel like you're one of them, like you get them, like you share their worldview. When all 5 layers are working together, you've got accelerated trust. You've compressed what would normally take weeks or months into a matter of minutes. You've given someone enough confidence to buy from you, even though they've never heard of you before. And here's the beautiful thing. Once you've built that initial accelerated trust and someone makes a purchase, that's when gradual trust starts kicking in. They receive your product, they use it, they have a good experience, they get your follow-up emails, they see your brand again, and over time, that shallow, accelerated trust deepens into real, lasting trust. The kind of trust that turns one-time buyers into repeat customers and brand advocates. But you can't get to gradual trust without accelerated trust first. You've got to get them over that initial hurdle. You've got to get them to take that first step. And during Black Friday, when everything is moving faster and competition is more intense, and people are in deal hunting mode rather than problem solving mode, accelerated trust is more critical than ever. So as you're planning your Black Friday campaigns, don't just think about your offer. Don't just think about your discount. Think about trust. Think about how you're going to build trust quickly. Think about what trust signals you can deploy to compress that trust building process into the tiny window of time you have. Because at the end of the day, people don't buy supplements just because they're on sale. They buy supplements because they trust that the supplement will help them, that it's safe, that it's legitimate, that the company behind it cares about quality and isn't going to rip them off. If you can communicate all of that quickly and effectively, you'll absolutely crush it during Black Friday. If you can't, you'll wonder why everyone just bounced to your competitors. All right, so that's the Trust Accelerator framework for Black Friday. In the next episode, we're going to talk about mechanisms, specifically how to adapt your unique mechanism messaging for Black Friday buyers who need hope and justification fast, because trust gets them to consider you, but hope and belief are what actually get them to buy. So make sure you tune in for that one. Until then, start thinking about your trust layers. Look at your product pages with fresh eyes and ask yourself, if I landed on this page, having never heard of this brand before, would I trust them enough to buy in the next 5 minutes? Be honest. And if the answer is no, you've got work to do before Black Friday hits. All right, I'll see you in the next episode.